Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I wanted to sit with my partner Nick and discuss basically how we've maintained a healthy relationship while I've been bodybuilding, or into bodybuilding, and you've been doing this a lot longer than me, evidently. There's an age gap. And you're also a wellness coach, so you're experiencing both sides of like bodybuilding, wellness, and Nick also coached me for my first proper season in bodybuilding. So how do you think we got along last year in my prep, living together? Well, you know, I was like prepping for a show and you weren't.
It's not difficult, it's just the right way of viewing things, which is today called mindset. Actually, technically speaking, that's the outcome of you viewing things. So basically, a clear framing of what needed to be done, and you know, it's the they say the family that plays together stays together. Well, the couple that trains together stays together. It's a well-known proven thing now in psychology, about facing the adversities together and working through them things. And I think we sort of just moved through a few things, and the most important thing is that we agreed on the outcomes and we agreed on the way through. So we were working to these things unitedly.
But do you think it's because we both knew where I wanted to be?
Yeah.
Obviously it's an intense process for a long time, so you've really got to be in agreement before you started that you're both on board with that.
The intentional goals and outcomes were never in question. So basically, for two people who don't have the same interests and the same outcomes in mind, you could say that they're on two different journeys. Them people are far less likely to succeed in trying to achieve a common aim. So we were more likely to succeed in the common aim, and being as I'd already been a coach to Colette previously, I basically knew enough about her, and I knew what to expect, and I knew what the outcomes of each step would be. So for me, I think one of the most important things is in every relationship you have to be prepared to make mistakes and understand that you're not fallible, and let the other person make mistakes, and you have to be acceptable of that, and you have to be looking towards the person's ability or rather not ability, right? Let me put it like this, you have to be prepared to allow the person to become the best version of what they're going to be, and whatever that may entail. And you usually find that not through empathy, but you usually find that through compassion and foresight, you could call it.
But like, obviously you know, like we've trained together, we do train together, like you understand how important the training aspect is, but I think that's only a small proportion of like bodybuilding. The other thing is not being able to eat out together, or like me having to do 16k steps a day. You understood that like late at night if I had to get back on treadmill when I really didn't want to, you didn't discourage me from that, which is something I've experienced before. Like you were just like, yeah, okay, go and do it. And actually there were lots of times on a Friday and Saturday night where I remember where you were sat at, you know, at a chair at the side of the treadmill, and we just had a bit of a laugh and a chat, or played music or whatever. I think we even had a disco ball on one prep. Just to make it a bit more fun and doing things together.
So to make this less analytical and more human, basically you're going on a journey together, or you're supporting your partner in this journey and this outcome. And there's two ways you can do it. You can either look at it very generically or very clinically, and then there's the other way, and you can have fun.
So do you think it's more about sharing goals and, like, I think, you know, sharing that the experiences, like we always say, like, it's a journey. Everything we do is a journey, whether we're working together, training together, anything we're doing errands together, going food shopping, it's a journey or an experience and an adventure. And we think we do try to make everything into a bit of a enjoyment, really.
Yeah, enjoyment, right? So there's joy in everything that you do. That's important, and it is an adventure. The most fundamental thing about life is it technically speaking is a romantic adventure. That's how it was designed to be. And I'm not talking about romance here. I'm talking about, like, when people used to be romancing, like the film Romancing the Stone. And basically what it's all about is the most heartfelt, far-reaching adventure that you can have. And that's how I would describe our lives together and the adversities that we've faced. And so I would encourage Colette to be the best that she can be, or to stop using these generic terms. I would basically encourage her towards the outcome, which was basically to bring her best on stage, and also to, the last time that she competed, we didn't have to go down as far. So that was my executive decision to maintain her health. Now, if it were needed that she needed to actually go right down to, you know, thread to needle, absolutely right down to 4% body fat, then that's what she would have done.
Obviously, not obviously, but like some people might have seen that Nick's coach from before 2021, well, to 2023 really. So you've seen me down really low in body fat, you've seen me in between, and it's like, it's a lot of pressure on you. So how did you like feel being my coach and living with me and everything? Was it intense, or you know, how do you think we maintained a good, healthy relationship with very little arguments, and apart from me not having any energy? Like, there were a lot of sacrifices made on your part, I think.
And I think the thing that makes me what I am and made me a good coach is I have resilience in one sense, and being very sort of not just relaxed, but being very patient and not even tolerant. It's not tolerance, it's being patient and understanding what endurance is and understanding what commitment is, and then things are just like so matter of fact. And if you've been through enough adversities, then you build that resilience so that nothing's a problem. And you know, the greatest adventure is to go through life with somebody. That's the greatest adventure. And basically to stop thinking about yourself, but to focus on all you can see that person become.
Do you think that, having been around pros as well, like bodybuilders in the past, you understood how strict it needs to be to get the result, obviously?
Of course, because it needs 100% commitment, and the only way I see it is you have to do whatever you need to do in order to get where you need to go, because you can't repeat last year. You can repeat the formula, but you may look a world apart, because this is this year, your body's a year older, everything's different, and it's all, as they say, in flux. It's all constantly changing.
And I think it's just about, obviously, me keeping focused as well, because it's hard to maintain focus for a 30-week prep as well, so it is a long time. But like, also, we did notice that you were probably in best shape you've been in years, and that's as a result. So like, do you think it helps you with your like goals or physique goals, whatever, you know, did it help you as well?
Oh yeah, because focus obviously helps you. Focus gives you motivation, it incentivises you, and clarity, because if you can see, you know, it's like, if you can see you can be it, and you know, everybody, you don't find motivation, you don't look for it and find it, you create that motivation, or it's created for you, and it can either be first party or third party. And basically for me, in that was somewhat third party that sort of inspired me and motivated me
You definitely were in good shape, like better than, you know, what might I say, we're both in better shape then.
About 2 stone of muscle heavier.
But you basically just followed my diet and we went on more walks together, so like, even on a rest day, obviously we trained together, but then we would go for a walk, because I had to do so many steps. So we made everything into going somewhere for a coffee or enjoying something, but we were always in agreement that we were going to go and do something. There were less time, weren't there? But basically, like, we were either going to the gym to do cardio, steps, posing, if it were winter time when I competed. So you helped me a lot with the posing. There were a lot of times you didn't really want to be there, I know that, but you did it. And that's, you know, that's important that we did it together. I weren't doing, the first time I did the proper prep in 2021, I was on my own for a lot of it. I was doing everything on my own. It was such a lonely place. And you made it more enjoyable last year because we just did everything together.
You know, one of the things that actually helped me to get to where I was, to be able to be a good coach, and no, not a prep coach as such, but a good coach in general. I spent a part of my life working with horses, and if you can work with horses, they're not, no, but they're a flight or fight animal. They're not literally a fight animal. They're a flight animal, and they're very sensitive to how you are. And when you work with these are big beasts, like, you know, like they're a very heavy beast, a 500 kilo animal, and when they don't want to do something, they don't do it, and you have to lead them. And you get used to being patient, and you get used to working with them, and you get used to non-verbal forms of communication. And if you can be patient in that, and you can see an outcome in that, then working with people is really easy. It's really easy. And so working with Colette were really easy. And it was more of a case of having kind of a bit of a relaxed attitude about it. So,
I think the thing is, you know me from previous preps, so you know what I'm like. Like, anyone who's in a prep knows that you can't maintain a focus very well, and you get hungry, you need distraction, so I always keep myself busy, that sort of thing. But you understood that behaviour from before.
Yeah, and another thing as well is knowing that you are a real nutter, right? And that you are not serious most of the time. And you're very driven and very focused, or you can be, and to know you and to know you in them things made it a lot easier, because if you were hyper intense and hyper focused all the time and so serious, then that would have made it a lot harder. So knowing you and knowing, you know, that your capacity for fun, having fun, and really being a bit silly and things like that, I think that all makes it for a better experience. And I think the thing is when you actually realise that you had the ability to flip both sides, that you could be really focused and really strong and really serious, and yet you could be totally silly, you know what I mean? And I think the right balance of that that helped a lot.
But a lot of that comes down to your, obviously, you know, mindset coaching. So like, you've helped me a lot from pulling back as well when I needed to, because being too intense all the time is kind of burnout territory. So that's helped, and I think making sure we communicate about that, or communicate if I'm stressed or worried or whatever, like making sure we have good communication, I think is good. Like, that's the tip I would give.
Yeah, always, yeah.
So
always.
I think you've got to like, it's all important, obviously, in a relationship, to recognise the stress and not bottle it up. So, but I think it's more intense when you are on a prep for a bodybuilding show. But even now, like in off season, I think that it's still difficult, because my goals are different. But yeah, I'm in a mini cut at the moment, so I've still got to tick boxes in a sense, which I hate, but that's another subject. But like, it's just I think you supporting me with my goals, whatever that is, that's basically how you maintain a healthy relationship, whether you, while I'm like bodybuilding, or even we're both business owners, we've both got as individual like goals we want to achieve, so it's doing it together always and like supporting each other through them, I think. So like it's like supportive rather than reactive.
It's never reactive. The only time you need to be reactive is in your reflexes, but the rest of the time you need to be a responder, because reaction, it's an action. Reaction, it's an action to a previous action, and that can be a bad thing. But if you're a responder, you've got time to think and act correctly, and you act with a response, and that's not a triggered response. That is a well-needed response.
So do you think there's any such thing as balance when you're talking about bodybuilding?
That's a very subjective question. Objectively, people might look from the outside and say bodybuilding is extreme, and they'd be totally correct. It is an extreme sport, but you take it to where you want to be. So anybody who comes into a gym becomes a bodybuilder, but you become an athlete when you take it way beyond that, when you look at all the aspects of fitness and health that you actually need. And bodybuilding as it is personified today is a very extreme sport. So I don't think that there's anything about it in itself that can be balanced, because whenever you're going to achieve anything, there is no balance in that, because you have to go towards that thing. The balance comes then when you shut off a little bit, right? And that's where it has to come, and where it fits in your life going forwards, that is where the balance is achieved. How this thing fits into your life going forwards.
I think well, from that then, like looking at sustainability, and this is obviously what you teach, and is like what's sustainable, what's good long term, and I've come to a point in my bodybuilding and off season where I'm like, I want to achieve certain goals in all areas of life, but it needs to feel like it's not a struggle constantly, because that's utterly exhausting. So I think that's the conclusion we've come to in terms of everything, supporting each other with doing everything, reminding yourself why we're doing it, maintaining the fun in everything, and being on the same page about that as well.
To conclude, it's not the struggle, it's the fun in the struggle. Because what's the event called now? Tough Mudder. Now Tough Mudder is literally, it's basically an assault course in mud, where there's not much traction or anything else, and you get together with your team and you tough it out through that. So is that not a struggle? But it's fun. But so a struggle can't be fun. But life's a struggle, because you're born into a struggle, because it's a struggle to be born. Now, once you equip yourself with that knowledge, you've got to find the fun in that. You've got to find the joy in that. And if you don't, then you might as well give up there and then, because you're never going to get anywhere in life. And that's where you build resilience. And that resilience then becomes a part of everything you are, everything you do. And you just look for the joy and you look for the fun in everything. And it's not about just, oh, this is 24/7 fun. But there is a joy in everything. Even in the most tense and the hardest moments in your life, there is still, or there should still be, a joy in that. It should be in the background.
So is that the one tip you'd give to people watching this video about maintaining a healthy relationship if they are a bodybuilder?
Yeah, and the other thing as well is learn to laugh at yourself, because I'll tell you now, you've heard it before and I'll tell you it again. It's like there's 10 commandments in the Bible. Well, in my opinion, it might be helpful if there were an 11th, and that would be, thou shalt not take thyself so seriously. Learn to laugh at yourself, and learn to laugh at the circumstance and the situation you're in. Because, let me put it this way, you look at your face in the mirror, right? What do you see? You look down the toilet. Of course you flushed it, but you look down the toilet and what do you see? Same face, same reflection, in that mirror or down that toilet. Work that one out for yourself. But basically what I'm saying is, learn to laugh at yourself and learn to laugh at your circumstances and situations, and life is nowhere near as bad as what you think.
I think like might like leave it on like final thoughts, and like I would say that you've got to look in perspective of like bodybuilding, competing, where that is in the rest of your life, and it's easy to get sucked down that hole. Obviously it's a massive goal and all your energy is going into that, but in terms of maintaining just life balance, making sure that you've got other goals outside of bodybuilding is really important.
Absolutely.
Like I started a mentorship course at 6 weeks out from the World Finals, which I thought I was actually insane to do, but it set me up for this year. So it's good to make sure, keep checking yourself and make sure you're doing other things outside of bodybuilding or integrating. I think that's the thing, like making sure you integrate your life together or with your family or business, whatever. Make sure it's integrated in and not making it a struggle, basically, not making it. It's going to be hard work, but not making it unbearable.
Yeah.
And doing everything together really helped me. So that'd be my biggest tips.
The struggle's real, so why add to it?
Yeah.
Basically, find the good in everything that you're doing. Find the enjoyment in everything that you're doing. Work at it together, get through it. Of course, goals will change, but the point is the biggest way to achieve them goals is through the habits that you set in that day. And then you're only looking extrinsically. And then every day is a new day in that, and you enjoy it for what it is.
Also, just create a bit of a schedule that you agree on works for both of you as well. But like then when we came, it go as far as enjoying. We went to France to compete. For me, you were a bit nervous because you've not been abroad for a long time, but we had a really good time, and like
just doing that
great good time. Saying Yorkshire,
yeah.
But like just enjoying that experience. We'd never been on the Eurostar, or we drove to France. We did all this stuff that we never thought we would do, and we got that opportunity and ran with it, and we're like that now. Whatever we do, we've always
the Eurostar. Like I'm going to tell you something about the Eurostar, right? It's like something out of Mad Max. It's just like this. It's like covered in like orange dust. Obviously, because it's going under it's in the tunnel. It's basically in the Channel Tunnel, right? And it's just getting covered in this dust and this break. So it's like orange, it's like something out of Mad Max Road Warrior. And you look at it and you just go like, is that to carry cars? Is it cattle or whatever is it like? And it's if you've not been on it, it's like nothing that you think. And then you get on it and you just go like, oh.
But the point is, these are all experiences we wouldn't have had if it weren't for bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't have gone to Paris and all these things. So like the main thing is to enjoy it together as an adventure, I think, and to just enjoy what you're doing rather than thinking of the next thing and the next thing and the next thing.
Oh yeah, stay in the
And
moment.
you always say, I'll be happy. Like don't say you'll be happy when you do this.
Not be happy
now. So
be happy now, enjoy the moment.
Yeah, so that's it. I think. Is there anything else lastly that you want to add to this video? Any tips or takeaways you want people to take about relationships and bodybuilding?
Relationships and bodybuilding. Yeah, only compare yourself to yourself, not to anybody else, and that's how you can achieve excellence, right? Because otherwise you're chasing after somebody else and you might never get there anyway, and you'll never be happy then in yourself, or even when you get there, because when you get there will be somebody else. There will be somewhere else, and you'll even be somebody else. So the point is be yourself and be the best that you can be, and that's what you should aim to be, and that's excellence. Be excellent, my friend. So
thank you for watching this video, guys. Make sure, obviously, you subscribe, like this video. If you've got any questions for either of us, let us know. We're not relationship experts, we're just giving our account of things. But I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'm hoping to give more collaborative content with Nick soon. He likes to chat, so go check out his channel as well, Action for Health, and I'll see you in the next video.